Yeah, and he undoubtedly is a San Diego sports treasure. Joining us right now, the Aztecs, Steve Fisher. Coach, good morning. Mike Costa, Judson Richards. Thanks for coming on today.
Gentlemen, happy to be with you.
Coach, it's a strange time where the abnormal is the normal. And I just said to Ben Fletcher, our producer, during the break, we were supposed to have NCAA championship basketball tonight. How strange has it been for you, somebody who has climbed that mountain in March Madness, to not have it this year?
I think everyone involved in athletics and in college basketball in particular went through withdrawals when we found out we weren't going to have a tournament. And then I'm like a lot of people. I, on CBS College Sports, different stations, watch replays of games from years gone by to live out the moment. And you're right. Today would have been the national championship day in Atlanta. And you close your eyes and think of what the Aztecs possibly could have done, and you can live that dream.
Steve Fisher with us on Xtra 1360. Coach, I am so impressed with how Brian Dutcher has handled this entire thing. He actually was in studio for those few hours that we thought that there were going to be games played without any fans in arenas, and we know that that quickly changed, and I think Coach Dutcher had a great idea of what was coming. What can you say about how Brian Dutcher has handled this whole thing?
Well, I think he's handled the job as the head coach of the Aztecs in tremendous fashion, with grace, with humility, and with immense success. And when you age in anything, you have a perspective that life could be hard, and it's unpredictable, and you have to live in the moment and love what you do, and have a passion for the people that you're with. And I think that's reflected in how Brian and his staff and team have handled themselves, how they played, and the grace in which they've handled themselves when the season was so abruptly ended.
Coach, we're going to look back on this season for Aztecs basketball. I think as you mentioned, when you get over the hurt and the pain of not having March Madness and really the lingering doubt about how far this team could have gone is maybe one of the greatest sports seasons in San Diego sports history, not just Aztecs basketball. When the season began, before the season began with this group, did you have any inkling inside as you looked at them from afar this group could be special?
I did. And I was very careful not to say that to too many people, too loud. But when I saw them all get together when they came for second session of summer school in July, very quickly I said this could be a really special group, and they proved to be that and then some. So I think to the outside world, they may have surprised, but I think if we were really honest, and even the coaching staff, you would say this team had a chance to really be good. But to have a chance and then win 25 in a row or whatever we did, to have our season go that way is incredible. Nobody can do that, and yet we did it.
Coach Fisher, you've been a part of so many historical moments, so many memorable moments in San Diego. In fact, this team was so good that they were able to surpass, I think, some that thought may stand for a long, long, long time. If we were to ask you, remembering some of your favorite games as the head coach of San Diego State University, where would you begin?
Well, I would start at the very beginning, with the first group that we inherited when we came in, and many people have forgotten we won our first game. We played UC Riverside, and we were 1-0. And I thought, well, this is not going to be too bad. And then we went on to win 4 games the rest of the season, going on 14 in league play. So that was a rude awakening, but we quickly changed the course in our third year with Randy Holcomb and that crew, Tony Bland. We went to our first ever NCAA tournament with our group, won 8 out of our last 9, and started really to say we can be something special here. And if I can go on, everybody talks about Kawhi's team. we went to 6 straight NCAA tournaments starting in 09, 10. And I think there were only 4 or 5 other teams in the country that had gone to more consecutive tournaments. And Kawhi's group, I think, drew national attention. And it started with the win at Gonzaga in the regular season. That drew the nation's attention. We won 20 in a row, rose to 4th in the country, and had an absolutely phenomenal season, leading to our first ever NCAA tournament win against Northern Colorado, double overtime win against Temple, and then the really heartfelt loss to Connecticut in the Sweet 16, a team that we still feel we were better than. They went on to win the national championship. So that group, and then I can go to one more, the 13-14 team with Xavier Thames and J.J. O'Brien and that crew. They won 20 in a row and had maybe, if you talk about memorable wins, maybe as good a win as San Diego State has ever had. Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas, they never lose there. I believe they had won 100-plus straight non-conference games when we went in and won there. And so, there's some wonderful memories and moments that our Aztec teams have been able to accomplish and our fans and community been able to experience.
From 99 to 2017, just coaching an incredible level of excellence by everybody associated with Aztecs basketball under your guidance. When you look at, you mentioned the 6 NCAA appearances, 2 Sweet 16 appearances is awesome. Anybody in San Diego who's associated with or is a fan of San Diego State University, knows there is somewhat of a rivalry with Brigham Young University. And I still say that one of the greatest nights to be inside, I think what was then Cox Arena, was the night that Jimmer Fredette and BYU came in and you guys blew them off the court.
Well, we didn't blow them off the court. We lost that game, but it was.
I thought it was a win.
No, with Kawhi's group, we were 20-0. We lost our first game at BYU, and then you are 100% right. When we played BYU, it was a 12 noon tip-off on national CBS Sports. Our students lined up and camped out for 4 days prior to the game, and it was as electric an atmosphere as there has ever been in college basketball. And I've been in some great environments in a lot of places. None have been better than Cox Arena, as you said that time, when BYU and Jimmer Fredette and that crew came in. It was unbelievable, the feel, the atmosphere, and the game itself.
I apologize. I hit my head over the weekend, so you have to bear with me. For some reason, I thought that was
I didn't want to correct you on that one. I would love to say we did win that game.
No. Coach, I'm glad you did, because setting the record straight is what it's all about. I probably got caught up in the fact that it was so awesome in the arena that was an Aztec win over BYU. I'm glad you corrected me though.
They were the only team that beat us all season long until we got to Connecticut in the Sweet 16. We lost 34-3, lost to 2 teams, BYU twice, and we avenged that in the Mountain West Conference tournament when we beat them there in the finals. It was a terrific rivalry that we have had, and I think they're rekindling that now with BYU.
Coach Fisher, he did actually hit his head. He's got the stitches to prove it. Luckily, Mike Costa lives in a neighborhood surrounded by doctors, so they were able to take care of him. Coach Fisher, one more before we let you go. This is a troubling time for so many people for so many different reasons. If you could, offer anything directly to Aztecs fans that are listening, what would you tell them?
Well, what I would say is what you would say to the general population anywhere. Stay safe. appreciate what you have. Spend some of that quiet time that you seem to never have the ability to, or take the time to, with your family. Appreciate what you've got, and together we'll work our way through it. I think you've seen so many positive acts of genuine kindness during this horrific time with coronavirus, and it's frightening. It's frightening for everybody. But if we adhere to what we're being asked to do and be smart with what we're doing, we can close our eyes and look for the day when we will be back in arenas and stadiums with crowds and enjoying the moment. But I think for the time being, we have to make sure that we're not trying to rush to do things too quickly.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate your time. Call back tomorrow, and I'll give you some more wins in some games where you guys unfortunately got a loss, okay? We appreciate the time, Coach.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate being on with you.
That is Steve Fisher. The Daily Dump coming up next.